Just announced, guys, US and the EU just got the biggest trade deal ever done, possibly in history, based on the numbers. Obviously, inflation has to do with that, but this is a huge trade deal. And it really brings a lot of balance to our trade relationship with the EU. It's been completely unbalanced for decades, and it's about time we get this thing back on track. And I can't be happier that this is happening. Okay, we're getting so much done, guys. This is unbelievable. Well, we're gonna hop right into it. Welcome to Getting to the Facts, guys. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel. You already know what it is. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. We're gonna dive right into this thing. Okay, so let's pull this up here. What's in Trump's trade deal with Europe? The United States and the European Union agreed on a framework trade deal to end months of uncertainty for industries and consumers. The two sides aim to produce a joint statement to clarify what they have agreed to, but here are the main elements of the deal that will enter into force on August 1st through an executive order by President Donald Trump. Let's see. Baseline tariff rate. Almost all EU goods entering the US will be subject to a 15% baseline tariff. The 15% tariff is not added to any existing rates. Cars and car parts will be subject to the 15% tariff compared to the 27.5% they face now. The European Commission said it would eliminate remaining low-level duties on industrial goods from the United States, although EU officials said for cars they would cut the import duty from 10% to the previous US level of 2.5%. Pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. The White House said EU pharmaceuticals and microchips will be subject to a 15% tariff. The European Commission says this will only be the case after the United States concludes Section 232 investigations in the coming weeks and sets new global tariff rates for the two sectors. For the EU, the maximum rate would be 15%. For now, they are only subject to low or zero pre-existing duties. The United States is also carrying out Section 232 investigations on grounds of national security into timber, trucks, critical minerals, commercial aircraft, polysilicon, and drones. EU officials said that for all of these, a maximum 15% tariff would apply for EU goods. Metals. Tariffs on European steel, aluminum will stay at 50%, with the same tariff also applying from the August 1st to copper. However, the EU and the US have agreed that they will be replaced by a quota whose details still has to be negotiated, EU officials say. And honestly, guys, I'm completely fine with that 50% tariff on aluminum and steel, because what he's trying to do, we need to manufacture our own aluminum and steel to the highest degree possible. Okay, we don't need to import that. We do not need to cut out our industry in the United States when we produce some of the best steel and aluminum in the entire world, the highest quality. Okay, so that is very important. I'm actually really happy about that. We're getting more money through trade. We're getting it way more balanced than it ever was because we've been getting screwed for decades. And we're also protecting very important sectors that if anything were to happen, we go into a war with China or anything, we can manufacture the most important things we need to right at home. That is what was so worrying about this whole thing, is we outsourced all of our manufacturing. We outsourced all of our important industries that really are needed to protect us if we get into a war situation. I mean, I don't think people understand that just, go to their regular job all the time and they don't really worry about politics. This is why we need to worry about politics and who we put into office. Okay? Any politician that is willing to send out important, like really mandatory manufacturing and other industries and just outsource it to other countries when we can do it right here at home and we keep those jobs in the United States, they do not care about the United States. They care about globalization. That is the biggest thing that they care about. Okay. And it's so obvious now. It's so obvious, especially as the Japan trade deal got done. All these trade deals are getting done now. It's just so obvious that they were just gradually bleeding us dry for so long. And this was real. I really feel, guys, this was our last chance to get it right. It was our last chance. So let's get right back into it. All right. What we got here? All right. Oh, 0 for 0 tariffs. According to the EU officials, the US and EU will have 0 for 0 tariffs on all aircraft and aircraft parts, certain chemicals, certain generic drugs, semiconductor making equipment, some agricultural products, but with the exclusion of all sensitive products like beef, rice, ethanol, sugar, or poultry, natural resources, and critical raw materials. More products could be added. Wine and spirits, a zero tariff regime for wine and spirits. A point of friction on both sides of the Atlantic is still under discussion. EU officials said talks were more advanced for spirits. Agricultural fish, the EU will open new market access for U.S. Alaska pollock, Pacific salmon, and shrimp subject to quotas. It will also offer improved access for U.S. soybean oil, planting seeds, grains, and nuts, as well as processed foods such as tomato ketchup, cocoa, and biscuits, subject to quotas. Strategic purchases. The EU pledged to make $750 billion in strategic purchases covering oil, liquefied natural gas, and nuclear technology during U.S. President Donald Trump's term in office. This will come as a mix of spot purchases for oil, long-term contracts for LNG, and government procurement for nuclear technology. The amount has been estimated on the basis of Europe's planned phase-out of energy purchases from Russia, which, guys, that right there is huge. That is huge. Okay. They've gotten a lot of their energy from Russia. They thought Russia wasn't going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, this Ukraine thing blew up out of nowhere. Okay. This was perfect because now we get them to buy all of our natural gas and all our oil at what the levels were that they were buying from Russia. Okay, way more reliable. We're never going to get into a war with the EU. This should have been hammered out a long time ago. Like how has the EU bought Russian oil and Russian natural gas when they're not even allies? Like, I mean, I understand. Like, Russia's really hasn't been too big of a threat until we pushed them into this Ukraine situation. But man, I know it was a lot cheaper, but cheap isn't always good. You need to have some stability and knowing that there's not a chance in hell that you're ever going into a war. There's always been at least a small chance that they thought Russia might do something. At least a small chance. There's zero chance that the US was going to do that. You know what I mean, guys? So I think that's what's so great about this. That is wonderful to hear. All right. Let's get back over here. Defense procurement. EU member states will purchase U.S. military equipment. The deal does not specify an amount. Other items, the EU says it will cooperate with the U.S. on automotive and food safety standards while retaining its current rules. Cooperation could take the form of streamlining certification for U.S. pork or dairy products. The two sides will also cooperate on investment screening and export controls, as well as addressing non-market policies such as China's subsidized production. Guys, overall, this is the best news that we could ever hear. This was the biggest deal that could happen. And honestly, this puts so much pressure right on China to make a deal. It's just the case. The EU and the US are the two biggest trading partners in the entire world. The most goods transferred to and from in the entire world. Okay? China's next. China knows what we want, what we need. They need it as well. Okay. China did not become a superpower like they are now out of thin air. We basically gave it to them. We outsourced all of manufacturing. The entire world really gave it to China to just manufacture everything on slave labor, basically slave labor, with how much they pay their employees over there. It's kind of sickening that we allowed that. Okay. So I don't think people understand we have way more leverage over China than China has over us. Okay. Flat out. We don't need China. We really don't. And I wish we never even used them. They're a communist party. They don't care about their citizens. That should be a no-go right from the get-go. Okay. And I know we deal with other communistic authoritarian countries. I don't agree with it, but China is always trying to obfuscate and always trying to take advantage and steal technology everywhere you look. It's been well known. Every country knows this, and we still allow them to manufacture our stuff there. That's what's so frustrating, guys. You know what I mean? But I got this little article, this video where Trump and Ursula von der Leyen are talking about the trade deal. We'll be able to hear from them exactly what they think about this. All right, guys. So let me get over to there real quick.
It's going to bring us closer together. I think this deal will bring us very close together, actually.
It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It's 15% tariffs across the board, all inclusive. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The chip says, Howard, you might want to describe the chips, please. European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment. We don't know what that number is, but it's the good news is we make the best military equipment in the world, so sort of you have to do that, I mean.
Indeed, basically the European market is open. It's 450 million people. So it's a good deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
With tough negotiations. I knew it at the beginning, and it was indeed very tough, but we came to good conclusions for both sides.
I mean, guys, this is just humongous. I mean, this deal is amazing. Okay. And obviously, is it more amazing for the United States? Yes. And you know why? Because the EU, the whole world has been taking advantage of us when it comes to trade, when it comes to military defense, when it comes to all these things. We have been getting sucked dry for decades. And I know why we did this in the beginning. We did this because all of Europe got decimated from World War I and World War II. So we were trying to help them out. But guys, World War II was back in the 1940s. Okay? It's about time that we come to some sort of level playing ground. You can't say, it's free trade or open trade when it's only one way. The United States needs to be involved in this so-called free trade if we want free trade. So this is a way where we claw back a lot of losses that we've had over the years. Okay. I mean, I don't think people understand how much of a deficit that we had when it comes to trade. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Before the recent trade deal, the U.S. ran a substantial trade deficit with the European Union. In 2024, just 1 year, the U.S. imported about $606 billion in goods from the EU while exporting around $370 billion, resulting in a deficit of approximately $236 billion. This imbalance was a key point of contention in the negotiations. So we were losing $236 billion a year. A year, guys. Okay? That's almost $1 trillion in 4 years. In one presidential term, we are in a deficit on trade by about $1 trillion. That is insane. And that's just with the EU. Just the EU. All right? So I mean, that to me, guys, I mean, this is why people wanted Trump in office. He was going to negotiate on the behalf of the American people. I don't know about you. Okay. But I don't remember any other president in my lifetime that has actually gone to bat for actual Americans to get better deals for us. I mean, this is the first time in so long. They've been pushing us down this road of globalization for so long. And I don't know about you, but I am so tired of it. The United States is unique and a great country. The rest of the world is very unique. Every country around the world is very unique. And we need to keep the uniqueness and keep the culture for all these places, because they want every country to be the same or to be so close to the same. There's no reason for you to go travel over there and make your carbon footprint bigger. That's what the globalists really care about. Okay. They don't want you to move. That's the biggest thing. They do not want it. So this is perfect for any person who cares about freedom and cares about actual fair trade across the board. And of course, it's going to look better for the United States because we'd be getting screwed. You know what I mean? So we got one more thing here I wanted to show you guys. And this is about just how big that the last trade deal that he had with Japan was. Japan was just as big, guys. All right. And again, all these countries know they've been taking advantage of the United States. So the big key points of this one, as we take a look here, Trump said that Japan will invest $550 billion in the United States, adding that the U.S. will receive 90% of the profits. He also said Japan will open their country to trade, including cars and trucks, rice, and certain other agricultural products and other things that were not allowed before. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said that auto tariffs on Tokyo will be lowered to 15%. Shortly after the deal announced, Japan's top negotiator Ryosei Akazawa said mission accomplished in a post on X. I mean, guys, this is huge. We are getting wins across the board, and I just love it. Okay, this is what Trump ran on. Close the borders, better trade, more money getting brought into the United States, more manufacturing getting brought into the United States. We cannot get weakened anymore. China is becoming too big of a threat. We need to firm up our relations with every other country around the board that is not aligned with how China is trying to do things. If with AI coming into play, China cannot be the leader in AI. Okay, whoever wins this AI race wins dominance over the entire world going forward. And any country that is a dictator authoritarianship like the CCP, they cannot beat us in this. And this is what we are trying to do to shore it up. I have a lot of things that I don't like about AI, but the one thing that I know is I would rather, as long as this country doesn't get taken over by globalists that want to just weaken the United States, if we can keep having leaders like Donald Trump who actually care about this country, I want the United States to be in control of AI because it's going to be safer and more reliable for everyone across the board around the world. You know what I mean, guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a great topic. I love diving into this stuff, especially when you know the United States is winning again. Okay, we are winning in big ways, guys. So be excited. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on that next video.